going on, everybody? What is up, Omega Nightmare? I see you out there just rated us with 7 people. Let's go. Woo!
Hell yeah.
What is up? Everybody, thanks for joining us. Oh, there's a hype train going on or something already in my head.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to Reality Bites. My name is Zork. I am a former journalist, musician, gamer, content creator. You may know me from shoutcasting in Population 1. I am joined by my awesome co-host over here. She is the rainbow after the flood. She is the mother of laughter, the creator of sarcasm. Everybody please welcome Rebel Latour to the show. That's right, that's right. You are in for such a special treat, everybody, tonight. We have with us my brother from another mother. I actually know this guy and met him in real life. He introduced me to Walkabout Mini Golf. He introduced me to Demio, even though he didn't know it. And I don't know how happy he is that he had to know. He got to know me, but he has been such a sport to come on the show. Everybody, please welcome King of Nerds. King of Nerds to the show.
Hello.
Now we're going to talk about all things like gaming and VR. And first and foremost, what is up, VR Val Gaming? Thanks for the follow. Tony in Chicago. Tony in Chicago is up in the house. I see you out there in the chat. Hey, what is up, Tony? Tony,
Thanks real quick, youtube.com/VRVal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just giving her a shout out.
Yeah, please do.
Thank you.
Please
thank
do.
You.
And speaking of, I need to give you a quick shout out real quick. I'm going to throw your link up here into the chat real quick while I have that copy.
He has great content, by the way. Go and watch
Great
it.
content.
Thank you so much.
There it
Yeah,
is
really
in the
good.
chat. What is up, GoTet? GoTet's the most awesome mod in the world to have.
Yes,
King of
she is.
Nerds is probably like, what the hell did I get myself into? This guy's just over here screaming.
No, man, I
all the
love
time.
this. This is perfect.
Awesome. So you all, please give my man King of Nerds a follow right now. Click on that link. Make sure you open it another tab, people. Open it up another tab. Do not close this window. First of all, we got to talk about it. King of Nerds, I know, but please share with everybody else exactly, we don't have to get into the weeds, but what was your journey into VR? Like, how did you get there?
Oh, man. So, in fact, one of my very first videos is all about this, about how I got into VR and why I wanted to get into VR. So, like you, Gen X, presumably Gen X, right?
Yep. Everybody knows.
We grew up.
I'm old. I don't age. I'm a
Thank you
vampire.
for not assuming that I'm
Such an old
old
man.
either. Thank you for not assuming that I'm old.
But she is. But she is.
So
Anyway.
when I was a kid, just like all the 80s kids, I was really into arcades, Donkey Kong, Pac-Man, Centipede, all those games. But of course, you didn't want to just look at the game. You didn't want to just move a joystick and be in 2 dimensions. That was the substitute. You wanted to be in the game, right?
Absolutely.
And whether it was fiction or whether it was like the show Reboot in the 90s, the cartoon, we wanted to be in the game. And so VR had many generations. You had the late 90s, early 90s Nintendo and Sega VR that really never went anywhere because people got sick. And then you had the Sky Mall glasses that you put on and you see like, quote unquote, a giant screen in front of you that moves with your head because there's no head tracking.
Right.
And the entire time there's this promise of VR. So in 2016, when both Oculus and Vive, Steam VR came out, I had to do it. I had to jump. It had to be the thing because it was finally what we expected of VR. Like if you saw a lawnmower man short of floating in a sphere, that's exactly what we were promised, and that's exactly what it gave us, right?
Right.
So ever since then, I've been, addicted to VR. It's been my thing. People are tired of me talking about it, and so I went ahead and just started up a YouTube channel just because no one wanted to talk to me about it.
So you're going to talk about it some more. He's going to talk about it some more, bitches. That's right.
Now, I heard that you have like a whole arcade system at your house.
I do. Yeah, I have over 20 arcade cabinets. I have a pinball machine. It's like the lone pinball machine.
Now, hold on, wait a minute. I don't think we should talk about that here. We should not talk about that because I'm going to get so fucking pissed off about it. Like, seriously.
Like, super jelly about it.
Yeah, I did tell you about it, but I didn't say, hey, everybody, don't ever say anything to Rebel and say, God, do not say this publicly, because she's going to say it. I'm just kidding.
She's told me everything, Brad, before we started.
Right. No, in all seriousness, no.
Ridiculous.
One of his most coveted machines, this is when I knew King of Nerds was cool, everybody. In case you didn't know, I am the one that tells you whether somebody's cool or not. And I knew that he was cool when his coveted video arcade machine that he recovered was my coveted. Yes. So anyway, now you can answer her question.
Yeah.
Now you can answer her question. I'm sorry. I interrupted that.
So I have over 20 arcade cabinets, and I restored them. So there was this guy on YouTube named John. It was John's Arcade. And a lot of people that got into arcade and pinball restoration watched John. And his channel's kind of dead now, but this guy's got to have like 100 and some, maybe 200 and some videos of like long play, like an hour and a half, 2 hours of how to restore an entire arcade cabinet. So that became my post-negative relationship thing that I got into. You know, you need a hobby after something bad happens. And it was right at the pandemic. So I started looking for arcade cabinets, and the very first one I ever got was Donkey Kong. I already had an arcade, already had a pinball machine from when I was a kid, but I always really wanted like a Donkey Kong. And then there's like the King of Kong, that documentary came out with I can't think of it. I was going to say Billy Mays, but Billy, I can't think of his last name. Yep. But holy crap, like I have an arcade in my house. I have a Donkey Kong, a Pac-Man, a Centipede, a Tron. I have Paperboy. I've got what's his name? Deluxe, Space Invaders Deluxe. I mean, I have Joust.
That is awesome.
I have 20 plus of them, and I've got so many down there now I can't fit any more in there. So
he has a full arcade in his basement, people. How are you not jealous?
You can see it in my videos.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, so that was what I was going to ask you. Is one of the videos, one of the most recent videos that you were showing like your alternate reality space, right? And or augmented reality space, and all you can see were like the arcade machines, and I'm like, oh shit, is that his actual basement? So that's cool as fuck. Yeah,
I tell you what, you know who wants to come into my basement and play with my arcade cabinets? Not beautiful 23-some-year-old women. It's all 12 and 13-year-old boys.
like 40-year-old boys. Don't say that out loud.
Oh yeah. No.
Oh my
that's
God,
fine.
he is like you.
He keeps them under the chair. He keeps them under the stairs. He feeds them. He gives them popcorn. Look, we're just kidding, everybody. We're just kidding. First and foremost, GoTet says, yay, lawnmower. GoTet knows what's up. Okay, seriously, though. If you are just joining us, we are here with the awesome VR content creator, King of Nerds. We only have him till 9 o'clock, so if you have a question, please answer it. But yes, your arcade in your basement is awesome. Absolutely.
Well, and I combined the arcade with the VR. So have you ever heard of the largest arcade in the world, the Galloping Ghost, up in Brookfield, Illinois? Yeah. It's run by a guy named Doc Mack. So I saw him on YouTube. I lived in Chicago, didn't even know this was up there. So I make at least once a year like a trip to Mecca. And every year they have about 100 or 200 more arcade machines. So when I first went up there, it was 600 and some cabinets. Now he's up to 1,000.
That's insane.
I had the privilege to interview him, and I'm like, you name it, he has it. So, my entire trip to VR and where I am now all started with arcade cabinets. So going there was like going to church, It was amazing. And then some of my first videos are really just about arcade cabinets, and then I started blending in the VR thing, and now it's all VR. But I like you've noticed I have to show off the arcade in the backdrop because it's a heck of a lot better than someone's dirty bed in their bedroom behind them in a video.
Right. It is a little sexier. It is a little sexier. I'll give you that.
A little sexier. Just a little sexier.
That's neat. Yeah.
So, and you talked about being immersed in VR And I know we're going to wax poetically about this King of Nerds because King of Nerds can go, I'm warning you all, he can go just as deep as I can about this, on and on and on. You need to follow his channel. It's up there in the chat. I'll put it up there again.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, King of Nerds does everything from Apple Vision Pro to Oculus Quest 3 to Oculus Pro when nobody had it. And
And still nobody has it.
right. Well, and now it's defunct, right?
Yeah.
Now they're basically saying,
now it's
we should have
defunct.
killed that shit. I don't know why we didn't do it.
Well, but I got my Quest Pro controllers out of it. You know, like
That's
I
true.
would have saved money if I just bought the
Yes.
controllers by themselves. But I love the Quest Pro controllers.
Yeah. So
We were just playing with a guy earlier over in Pop One today, and we were talking about the different controllers, that are available. And he was telling us, he's like, the best controllers that I've ever used were the Oculus Pro. And he's like, I've tried like multiple headsets, not just Oculus. And he's like, they are by far superior to anything that I've ever seen. So
in 2016, for sure. In 2016, when the Vive Pro came out, or the Vive, those wand controllers, they were funky to look at, but they were actually really comfortable. And then when you buy something like a $1,000 VR system, you assume it's the only one you're ever going to buy, right? But at some point, because I realized I was really into it, I went ahead and I got the Rift, the Oculus Rift, the original one. And those controllers were pretty much like what you have now on like the Quest, but they had a ring that went underneath your hand. And they're so well balanced. They feel so good. And then when the Index came out, those Index controllers, like they wrapped around your hand, they had full movement, and I almost used those tonight. I love those controllers, but they would cut off the blood flow off the back of my hand because if you pull that little string, So when the Quest came out, the thing I was disappointed by was the fact that the controllers always had to stay in front of you because the cameras on the Quest themselves actually had to see the controllers.
Yes.
So when the Quest Pro controllers came out, to me that was it. And really, I love PC VR, but the convenience of the Quest and the quality of the Quest games, especially on the Quest 3, combined with the Quest Pro controllers, eventually cut that cord for me. So I'm at the point now that I rarely ever connect to PC VR, even if I like the Index controllers. But a great deal of it is these Quest Pro controllers. I just love them.
Right.
Yeah. And you use the Meta 3, the Quest 3 right now, right?
I have the Quest 3 right now, but man, I have Pimax, the Vive Pro, I have the Oculus Rift, I have a Rift Go, I have... I can't think of all the ones I have, and it's the Quest that I come back to the most because it's just like the camera that's in your pocket is the camera you're going to use the most.
Exactly.
You could be a professional photographer. You have a nice big $1,500 camera, but it's at home. I've got an Android or an iPhone in my pocket, so that's what I'm going to use. That's why I use the Quest more than anything because it's so darn convenient.
Yeah, it's all about the point of friction, right? It's all about the point of friction.
Right, exactly.
And I mean, I think that's why a lot of people are not in PC VR, although I've already told Rebel. I think she's going to have to get one. King of Nerds can contest me on that. But one of the other things, for those of you just joining us, literally, and Rosta's right here, what's better pop related? So King of Nerds knows about Population 1. He's played it a little bit, but I would say, in my opinion, I like PC VR better, but I will say if I play on standalone in Rasta, that I feel like the Quest 3 can render just as well as any PC VR headset that you have out there.
There's a couple games that for sure on the Quest 3, like Demio, when you played it on a Quest 2, there were some effects that were missing. And so then when you connected your Quest or whichever headset you had to the PC, you saw like when you knocked over the poison, there was like floating green gas. Right. And it was super cool, right? You zoom all the way down in there and you like surround yourself in a bath of green gas.
Right.
But when
King of Nerds does that nightly, in case anybody didn't know.
I do.
Sorry.
Most definitely.
Demio is amazing.
Do what? What'd you say?
I said Demio is amazing. I love it.
Oh, it is amazing, yeah. I mean,
it's
any game in which you can stand around and farts is great, right? But on the Quest 3, the PC VR graphics are in the Quest 3.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean,
they're there.
That's the one that like I play Demio so much almost every day that's when it convinced me like the Quest 3 is the new king. Now it may not be the new king of a certain spec, right? Like the widest is going to be the Pimax. And you know, there are so many headsets.
For those of us that might not know what you just meant by that, the why
about the Pimax.
No, because of the field of view.
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh, the field of view. Yeah. So like.
It's so much wider.
Quest, pretty much all the Quest. Yeah, pretty much.
This
all the
is why you got to follow this guy, people. This is why you got to follow that guy, because this next question I'm going to hit him with, he's going to know what it is. Like, seriously, look in the bottom of the chat. I put his link up there.
You got to perform.
Seriously, yeah. Come on, King of Nerds. Damn it. No, but seriously, you're talking about the field of view, like it's wider, right?
Yeah.
In the Pimax.
Yeah, like. It looks like, you know, when you're on a Quest 3 and a Quest 2, even in like the Index, it looks like you're looking to some binoculars, right? You see the edge of the round surface. Yeah. Depending on your how wide your eyes are, it could be a little bit better, it could be a little bit worse. But with the Pimax, if you ever see it, it looks like someone took a 2x4 and just strapped it to the front of your face, and it's so stupid freaking wide. So
that's crazy.
In most headsets, you don't have peripheral vision, right? Like I can see you, but I can't see you. Yes. I can see you, but I can't see him. But on a Pimax, I can guarantee you, I'll be able to see both of you guys right now. So I used to play a lot of Velvet Assassin, and so you have like a bow and arrow, right? If I hold it sideways on every other headset, I could not see the tips of the bow. But on the Pimax, I would have a whole foot left on each side of the bow. That's how wide it is. You know,
that's crazy.
It's so wide, in fact, that like all three of us right now, when you're in VR, when you turn your head to the right, we disappear, at least according to your headset, right?
Yeah.
It's completely black behind, which is scary as hell if you think about it. But on the Pimax, it's so wide that games and things weren't ready for it. So you would put on the Pimax and you would turn your head just a little bit. You could still see everything on your right because you have your peripheral vision, and objects would start disappearing to your right. Like there'd be a potted plant there. And
the rendering
it would also
issues
disappear.
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. It just things start disappearing.
Well,
so they have to compensate for it.
And correct me if I'm wrong. And then the Vive is different than the Quest in the sense that it's vertically the field of view is larger.
Oh, they had the taller ones. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, like I don't have them all memorized, but you know, honestly, once you're in a game, if it's immersive enough, you don't even notice.
I told you we shouldn't have had him on this damn show.
What kind of nerd are you?
I'm the prince of nerds, unfortunately, or the like the viceroy of nerds.
He is the ambassador.
It's awfully presumptive.
Right.
I made this video. I made this video where I was talking about the PSVR 2, and I like the PSVR 2. And if the people had actually freaking watched the video, they would see that I like it too. But all they saw was the thumbnail where I said it was a piece of shit. But you know, why would they react to that?
Oops.
Oh my god. Yes.
So I had a guy on there say, "Who's this guy?" saying that he's the king of nerds, you know. And I'm just like, dude, it's the king of nerds is not a good thing. I mean, we might think it's a good thing, but the average person's like, I'm making fun of myself. Like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Like,
satire, people, satire, right? Oh, real quick, I have to say, hey, Big Funny Giant, thank you. First time in the stream. Thank you for being here. I hope you like what you see. So getting back to Enrasta's question, one of the big things that we thought that was great about the Quest 2 is that you could set the resolution to 120 by connecting it to PC VR, right?
Oh, right.
And I think with the Quest 3, doesn't it already come that way? Or it's recommended at like 75, but you can go up at least to 120.
Yeah,
right?
like 70, 90, 120. Right.
Right.
And it depends on the developer, depends on the app. They get to control it.
So in Rasta, I know you can do that in Pop 1 with your Quest 3, but you can also do it with the Quest 2 if it's hooked up to the PC VR.
With the Quest 2, you sure can, yeah.
And I will say that I've shoutcasted enough games with Enrasta in it to know that you are sweaty enough, my friend. That's right. You are sweaty enough that you do not have to worry about going to 120. If you go to 120, you're going to shoot me before I even get into the lobby. Now, hey, what's up, Jeremy? Ryan is in the chat.
Hi, Jeremy.
Jeremy says it's really impressive how the cost of VR has come down since Lawnmower Man. The cost of just the headset piece, BPL iPhone, and the movie would be like $22,308.
Probably.
That's what he said. Thank you for weighing in on that.
So I recently made a video about why people don't like VR, because it's blown my mind that there are people that don't like it. And it's not that they just don't like it. Like, there's a lot of things I don't like, but I don't go after people to tell them how much I don't like it.
Right.
And it blows my mind that, and one of the things that he just brought up was the cost. One of the things that people say, even people that should know better, is that VR is too expensive. $300 for a Quest 2, $500 for a Quest 3, $500 or it's like $450 for like a
your Xbox is $700. Your PlayStation is $500 to $700. Like, it's so comparable to the costs of gaming consoles themselves, and even the games inside of the Oculus, the Oculus 3. I mean, the most expensive game that I've seen is, $35 to $40. I don't think I've ever paid more than $40, but most of your games are $20 or less, I mean, there's a ton of them. And then you go into App Labs where it's like so many games are for free.
Yeah.
Right, because they're still in beta testing. Or side questing. Yes, exactly. Well, and you're couple bucks.
It's also brand new now. There's going to be a lot of developers that are starting off that are going to be like a 2 or 3 developer team. They're going to make something really cool, but it can't be as cool as something that like EA would make, right? So they're not going to charge $60 because they don't feel like they can charge $60. So they're probably going to charge $20, give or take. I look forward to a day that games in VR are more often than not the same price as they are on the PS5 or on a PC. Not because I want games to be more expensive. It just means that they're going to be a lot more people to make games for at that point. That the budgets are going to be gigantic, and so they're going to have to charge $60 for silver game.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
But yeah, there's a lot of reasons that people say they don't like VR. One of them is that they say it hurts. It hurts some people, but a lot of people go on roller coasters, right? And they eventually find out.
I heard King of Nerds just last night. I took him to a place that you can't even go to.
Smart.
That's right.
Just kidding. There's something I like about you.
That's right.
Really.
Well, but that's the thing is that then you have the alternate pieces of equipment that you can use to make it better. So your Bubba VR, which is your head strap that you can go and get. There are so many people. Well, and then you have like Walkabout Mini Golf people. How do you think that they made those clubs? Because people complained, oh, well, I want an actual golf club to be able to swing, so that it makes it more realistic to me. And so all of these nerds that we have out here were like, hold my beer, I have a fucking 3D printer and I'm going to test 40 different mini golf clubs that we can use. And then you have companies who ended up forming because of this, and it helps the VR community because they're like, oh, okay, here are these amazing products that you can use to do this. So
I have no doubt that VR is doing well. If you went into like right now, if you go into like the Oculus Rift store on PC VR, it's not growing much because they shifted their attention. But if that's what all of VR and the most popular brand in store right now, the Quest, if that's what that looked like, then I'd be concerned. But there's brand new games, brand new apps. You've got Apple releasing the Apple Vision Pro. Sure, it's not as big as the PS5. It's not as big as an Xbox.
Right.
But it's growing. There's a lot of people into it. And remember when the Wii came out and you had people that weren't into video games buying them? And then that gave you that feeling of like, man, something's happening, right? It's the same thing. There are people that don't care about video games that are buying headsets because they've tried it someplace. It worked out really well. They can communicate with a friend or a family member across the globe, and hey, it only costs them $300, not $1,000, not $2,000. So it's doing well.
And real quick, I got to do some chat maintenance because we got activity. I'm loving that. What is up? Magic Mike is in here. Watch out. Magic Mike's in here. He's trying not to get banned, and I appreciate you for that. Jeremy Ryan says, real quick, I've been very impressed what VR games are sell for. Magic Mike said, oh, Sugar Mama, buy me a 3 then. Oh, it's always dangerous when you call Rebel Mama. Be careful what you wish for, my friend.
No way.
Like, I had to call the cleaning crew to come in here, and that's why we've been down for 2 weeks. I had to remove body parts. I had to get the smell out of here. It's not good. VR Val Gaming says, I have never been a gamer until I tried VR. Now I'm an absolute addict. Yeah, I'm an addict too. Absolutely.
Love it. Yeah,
True.
And
Yep.
I think I kind of went through the phase of, I got to the PS3, and then I got to the point of the graphics could get better. Like the graphics were better from the PS2 to the PS3, from the PS1, from the Super Nintendo.
Oh, yeah.
The graphics could get better, and there could be a game out there or a franchise that I want to get into. But I'm really saving my money for that next big thing, and VR was that next big thing. Like, I don't know how long you all, but I turned around like, oh man, I can afford to go. I couldn't afford, the stuff that King of Nerds was getting into. I couldn't afford
decent.
But it was like, oh, I wanted, but no, they're going to come out with something better. And then they came out with Oculus One, and I'm like, I'm totally in. But the other thing, to your point, like we were discussing last night when you were in here, and I was showing you around here and our little playpen here, that we were talking about how, going back to your VR is dead video, that's the one that you're kind of referencing, right? Is that there was an interesting quote that I saw not too long ago that was serendipitously brought up on Upload VR too during their podcast. In 1980, now think about this, in 1980, Apple had to send an internal memo to their employees and said, all of you all need to please start using the computers. And a lot of their staff was saying, why do I want to use the computer when the typewriter is easier and it does exactly the same thing?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that crazy to think about?
Yeah, because they didn't understand it.
Yeah, they didn't understand it. And it's like, I think VR, now that we see what, obviously you've shown some stuff off about what the Apple Vision Pro can do. And
such a great headset.
And the Apple Vision Pro has, I think, in a good way, iron sharpens iron, right? It has made Quest up their game, and now we have spatial computing apps that I use in the Quest 3 without even being connected to my PC VR. Like we discussed, I don't know, a month ago, Rebel, I was talking about the Fluid app. I'm still using the Fluid app. I can put that on, and I can do work emails with a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse with my headset on. I can watch a video in the background. I can have Discord open over here. It's eating up screens. I think that, VR eventually may become the new personal computing that may be easier for other 100% people, right?
100% will. So here's my theory about that. Year zero, the Earth is created, okay?
Right.
Eventually, organisms rise out. I'm being ridiculous here, but eventually you get to humanity, right?
Right.
And we as humans have a bigger imagination than our bodies. You can imagine an entire sky filled with dragons or anything, but you couldn't make it happen. So at some point we start telling stories because we want more than just what life has to offer.
Sure. We're makers.
Well, that wasn't enough. Right. That was enough. At some point, someone creates, the idea of magic, and let's start writing fantasy novels. And, you've got The Hobbit and you've got Lord of the Rings. You have all these fantasy novels where there's magic being used because we want more than that. Then Star Trek comes along, and then there's holograms, and we have a holodeck. We always seem to want more. So to me, VR and AR are not this separate thing to be chided, to be made fun of. It is that natural extension of the thing that we've all been wanting to do since we were cavemen, and we were telling stories of things beyond ourselves. We can now start seeing these things, right?
Right.
We can start
we
can be on a faraway planet. We can jump out of an airplane on Jupiter. These are things we'll never ever get to do. But with VR and AR, we're starting to do it. And so why would that not be the natural extension? So it's not going to be the iPhone becomes AR VR. It's which is, I know that's not exactly the point you were saying. It's the iPhone becomes it's the next layer. There is like network communication. There's Bluetooth, and there's storage, and there's faster screens. There's all these things. They converge and they become a single device, and that's the iPhone and it's Android.
Yep.
So adding a headset to it is the natural next step. It's the next iteration of those devices. We just happen to have them on our face now, and we can't take them very far. But it's all coming, and it's going to be in our lifetime.
Well, right, that's just for right now, and that's already happening though, because like if you look at industries, it's already happening. You have it in the medical industry that is how they're teaching surgeons, to help in the medical industry. So it's just those are the pieces that are happening now.
Yeah.
So
and I think the other thing when you were talking about, not to interrupt you, Kingdom Nerds. I keep wanting to call you by your real name because I know you by your real name. Is that
government name?
It is right. Not your chosen name, but your government name.
Don't call him by his government name.
Anyway. But the other part of it is too, like I dreamed when I was a kid when it was like I saw war games and it was like, oh my God, I could play games with somebody in another area code. Then I could play games with somebody in another country. It's like human nature is always about seeking out connection.
Coming together.
Yeah, like even with everybody watching at home right now, and Jeremy Ryan, I'm going to get to your point here in just a second. Jeremy Ryan's got a good point there. Tony in Chicago, Val and VR are talking about each other, or talking to each other about what we're just talking about. It's that we're creating a community. Like Rebel and I met in a game, and now we're doing a VR podcast in VR about VR, and then we play in other games. And I mean, that's just like today, while I was working from home, I streamed a game with a friend of mine that lives in France and a friend of mine that lives in Russia. I mean, we are getting to the point. I don't think we're at the point that we want VR to be yet, but I think we're getting there.
Yeah, right. But you know what? To your point, I think the best of VR is social VR. VR chat, Rec Room. I've not used Horizons much just because I haven't had anyone in my life that's pushed me to go to Meta Horizons.
Right,
but
me either.
It's the same thing. It's getting to know people. I have friends. I have people that would no doubt call my friends that have only met in VR. Right. I know their height. I know the way that they gesticulate with their hands. I know the way they dance. I know, like, there's just things that if I met them in real life, I'm pretty sure I could tell you, oh yeah, that's that person. Even though I've never met them outside of VR, I know basically what they look like. And it's so much more intimate. My father and I, we play walkabout mini golf. We have a 10 a.m. tea time every Sunday.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about
that. To us playing. So we started playing about 2 years ago, and prior to that, it was just phone calls. I would call him on the phone, or he would call me. We'd talk about the weather. We talk about work, and everything was fine, and that's nice. And then you hang up. Once we started playing walkabout mini golf, we still do that. How are you? I'm fine. But after about a few minutes of that, then it's quiet. Just like in real life, you're standing on an elevator with someone, it's quiet. One of you starts doing some small talk, and before you know it, you start having a back and forth. My relationship with my father has expanded exponentially. He uses a different tone of voice with me. It's a friend voice that he uses with me. He comes to me about his problems. He talks about it. That's never something he would do in the past. And I'm not saying this can't happen in 2 dimensions. I'm not saying it can't happen playing World of Warcraft with someone on a 2-dimensional screen.
Right.
But there's just a greater level of intimacy, and there's a greater level of access for certain people like my father, who you ask him if he's ever played a video game in his life. No, he says he's not. He's been playing walkabout mini golf for 2 years. So, Dad, would you ever play a video game without me? He goes, no, why would it do that? I said, but I saw that you said you were on the other day. It came up on my phone. Oh, I was practicing because I want to beat you on this one specific level or this one specific course. I'm like, well, Dad, you're playing a game by yourself. So it's becoming more accessible to people who never before would have played video games whatsoever. It's bringing the world together. Do you want to start singing Kumbaya? We can start singing Kumbaya.
Right. We can do that right now.
This brings up something that I talked to Tony in Chicago about a lot. We that's
she's name dropping you, Tony. Watch out.
So me and Tony one day we were discussing VR friends and in real life friends. And you hear people say, oh, well, those are my real friends and then my VR friends. And he's like, Rebel, like, don't you think that they're also your real friends? And it never, I've been in VR for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. And I always had, well, my real friends and then my VR friends. And until he really stopped me and I thought about it, and I'm all, bitch, I spend more time with these guys than I do with my friends in my real life. Yes, they're my real friends. Like, that's how it is. And then I have a 13-year-old son too, right? And with COVID, like, his whole world is rocked.
Right.
90% of his friends are online because that's how it is. And they're on all different, locations all over the world. And they all, keep in contact with Discord. And so I'm like, it's true. Like, these people that I am with every day, or that I am consistently around, like Zork, Tony, Duchess, all the wonderful people that I have met on VR.
Miscreants, total miscreants.
They're
all miscreants.
Mike, like, there's so many names, okay? But these guys are my real friends, my people that I will have in my life for the rest of my life. And if it wasn't for VR, I wouldn't have that. And kind of to credit what you said, I can walk into an open room and know 9 times out of 10 that's fucking Zork, because of how he's standing, his hand movements, his head movements, his body movements.
I would totally be
know
busted.
that it's him. I wouldn't even need to see a picture of him.
I would be busted.
Wouldn't even need to see a picture. I just know that it was him.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
All these things.
Well, real quick, because
you know how. Yep, go ahead.
Let me just interrupt you real quick, because we're literally already at 44 minutes. Can you believe that? And we have 18 people out there watching us. What is up, darling? Nikki's in the house. What is up? Oh, thank you all so much for joining us. If you're just joining us, we are here with my friend, my partner in crime, Rebel Latour.
Excuse me, he's my friend now, too. Don't even say that. You are my friend now, too, King.
I said Jill. All right, everybody?
Oh, okay.
Did you see? I don't know what she's got on her headset right now, but we know she's got shit in her ears. But we're also here with my friend, King of Nerds. You've got to check out his channel. I will post that again. Gotet has rightfully pinned that into the chat, so you can go to it. Please go and check that out.
Thank you.
But I wanted to ask you, so you went from, I want to start a YouTube channel so I can tell everybody about VR, and now you've gone into, you've interviewed the composer for Walkabout Mini Golf.
Oh,
you've interviewed a dev,
a
dev and Demio. You're testing products. Like, how did you make that jump, and why did you want to make that jump?
The beauty of VR is that the entire crowd in the industry is so small that they want anyone to interview them. So, I can't hurt to ask, right?
Thanks a lot. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but here's where I'm going to talk about you guys. You have to have, a buildup of a number of episodes in quality before they're going to accept you. Because, there's definitely going to be developers I ask if I can do an interview, and they look at my channel and like, oh, well, you don't have 100,000 subscribers, so no. But they then look at the quality of the videos, like, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about, So I love the democratization of social media. Remember, like, on Wayne's World, they had in their basement that, the local access television with the cameras and everything. And that was the whole thing. And like nowadays people look at that and they just would assume they're doing YouTube videos, It's so easy for anyone to make a video, but do something that you love. And like the three of us, we all love VR. And as I'm sure you find out, you start becoming really good at producing things for VR, for your content, for YouTube, for Twitch.
Right.
Like this looks fantastic. Like your patter is fantastic. Your first episode, I'm sure, didn't look and sound this good, right?
Oh no, absolutely.
So
not.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Yeah. So what
it didn't get great until Zork got me. Let's be very clear.
Let's just hold on, wait a minute. Let's just say real quick that she was a guest on this show. And then she would not leave, you all. She would not leave. I couldn't kick her out of the house. She took the keys. She did. Well, I mean, I could tell right away that Rebel was like, she was part of the tribe. she was part of the tribe, and I wanted to do it with her. Cool. Yeah. She has enthusiasm for it, and I think you have to have enthusiasm for anything you do, because if you don't, then why the hell do it, right?
Yeah, sure.
Like all of these people, all of you fine people here that have anything else better to do with your Thursday, you're here spending with us, and that is awesome. And we appreciate it.
For it.
And so I just want tell us a little bit about what you want to do next with your channel, King of Nerds. Like, for people that don't know, I mean, you review games, you tell people about even how to do stuff. Right. Like, if you ever wanted to know how to take someone's entire garage and turn it into a space pirate training arena, he knows how to do that, and he put the video together for it to do that. He can show you how to make a guardian into straight lines. Yeah, but go ahead.
That's my buddy Mitch, and so if you guys haven't seen the game, you're literally in the space that you have, and it's 1-on-1, basically laser tag, but you see all the walls. It's so freaking cool. I don't know what I was thinking of. That guy's a Navy SEAL. In real life, he's a Navy SEAL. And I'm just like, what am I thinking? There's no way I'm going to put him in this, right?
Right.
So when I started out with my videos, I didn't know exactly the kind of videos I wanted to make. I just knew that I wanted to make VR videos. I was super enthusiastic about VR, and I wanted everyone to know about it.
Sure.
And so you first start doing things about, like, tips and tricks, because I'd already been playing VR for 4 or 5 years at that point, and I wanted to, I had a list of things I could talk about.
Right.
Then you get people, offering you, like, hey, could you review this device? Can you review that device? And that becomes difficult, because then you feel like you owe them something. You got to say something nice because they sent it to you. So I kind of went through that. I think everyone kind of goes through that phase at some point, and then it becomes too much. People want to send you things for free, and it's super nice, but you can't take them,
right?
Because, like, now you got to make a video. So
and you're going to say all this shit stuff, right?
Yeah, no, yeah. Well, sometimes. But I was listening to a podcast, and they were interviewing this guy, and they asked him what he did. And he said, well, I have a YouTube channel where I do video essays. And that hit me. I'm like, that's what I want to do. I just want to give my opinion. I don't necessarily want to do it the way everyone else is doing it. The kind of videos that I like to make, unfortunately, aren't very quick. Some people can make a video within 30 minutes, and it blows up.
Right.
Unfortunately, I want to make videos that look really freaking cool. I want to impress people with graphics. I want to remind them of some stupid old game. Thanks, man.
Yeah. The quality is awesome.
I've decided I want to be the Andy Rooney of virtual reality. I want to get in front of a camera and just complain. I want to say this is stupid, but I don't want to really say it's stupid. I'm just saying it's stupid because, for the same reason as Andy Rooney did, it's because it's funny when he says it.
Right.
And I want to give a real opinion about something. But when the PSVR 2 came out, I was very passionate about the PSVR 2. It wasn't that I didn't like it. In fact, I love it. I just wanted people to understand that I felt like it was more being treated as an accessory by Sony versus the standalone headset that I wanted them to make. And that wasn't, people that love it, wasn't their fault. But, that's the type of videos I want to make that have a big opinion.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I always ask people this, and since we're getting close to an hour, I just want to, if anybody has any questions out there, please throw them at my man, King of Nerds here. His YouTube channel link is pinned at the top by GoTet. GoTet, thank you very much, because you're awesome for doing that. But I kind of warned you about this question, and Rebel knows I'm going to ask it, is what is something that you are looking forward to in VR, whether that's a new game, a new piece of tech, or just where you want to see the industry go, whether that's something you've heard.
I'm used to asking
abstract.
people this question, and now I know why they pause for so long, because there are too many things,
Right.
Because I think the thing I want, the thing that I want that's not going to happen for a while, is real portable haptic feedback that's good. Remember when the Rumble came out for the Nintendo 64?
Yes,
it was good, but it only worked on the 64.
Yep.
Yeah, and if you didn't have a PlayStation, it was going to work. But eventually, they came out with their own Rumble controllers. So now you had multiple Rumble devices, and although that was great, it's the same problem. I want a standard of haptics all across the board, and I want to feel a spider crawling up and down my body once.
Oh my gosh, that would be so
I want to
awesome.
feel all the crazy things at least once.
I do not.
I think that would be awesome.
I'm glad that you want
we
to.
got to get to that stage at some point, right? But the next thing I want is like the Apple Vision Pro. I think it's getting dogged for a lot of good reasons. $3,500 is a lot of money, but everyone knows it's not going to save $3,500. They're going to get it down to sub $1,000, and it's but the things that they're doing with it are really, I mean, the Quest 3, when the Apple Vision Pro came out, I got angry at people that were not agreeing with me that the Quest 3, the Quest 2, other headsets, the Pico were already doing everything the Apple Vision Pro does. But the difference is the Apple Vision Pro's got Apple money and Apple engineers behind it that it is the thing that's eventually going to be the little tiny glasses that we wear, the little Steve Jobs glasses.
100%.
And their hand tracking, although the Quest 3 hand tracking is great and it's gotten even better, the Apple Vision Pro hand tracking it's just fantastic, especially in the betas. So the next step of everything I want is the thing that we all know is coming, which is a nice pair of glasses that you put on. I can see everyone's going to have completely like empty white rooms in their houses, because why? You don't need the splash of color anymore. You can just make it just like this. Things you're seeing around us. You come into my house, and then if we have a standard, you see the things I want you to see, or you make it whatever you want. That's all here. Just like the components of the iPhone and Android devices were around in the 90s. It just took 5 to 10 years to finally get together. All those things are here right now, and we're so close to having that all the time, and I can't wait.
Yeah, that's awesome. Real quick, VR Val Gaming has a question. VR Val Gaming said, King of Nerds, what do you like to do when you're not in VR? Is there such a thing as not in VR for King of Nerds?
It's hang out with the girlfriend, VR Val. so youtube.com/VR Val. Check her out. I can't remember all of her Instagram there as well. And you would also mention Hello Real. Our friend Benny, he runs the company Hello Real, so it's a mutual friend of ours.
She responded with correct answer in the chat, by the way.
Correct answer.
Hey, VR Val, please put a link to your channel. Put a link to your YouTube channel in there, because we want to share it with everybody.
Please do.
That's one of the things that Rebel and I definitely want to do. Is we are here to spread the gospel about VR.
Yes.
Because we've
built supporting each other.
Yeah. And we've,
definitely, yeah. We're still a small community.
Yeah. We still have a decent amount of people here on a Thursday night, which is awesome. But I mean, we've kind of like, we're gathering people to this little community that we have. So Rebel, I'm going to ask you, what are you looking forward to?
Okay, so I'm going to tell you what I'm looking forward to. But before we sign off, I do want to say something. Sure. We talked about before.
Yep.
Okay. My favorite thing that I am looking forward to is, like, 2 days ago, Walkabout Mini Golf told everybody that they're launching Mars Walkabout Mini Golf Course, and I am so excited. Like, I cannot wait to have like 1,000 gravity and not be able to move my ball. because it's like super heavy on Mars, and everything is going to be red, and I am just excited. Like, I can't wait to see what it looks like. I saw some of the sketches that they've posted of, some of the equipment and stuff, all their little teasers that they do. Sure. So I'm very excited to look forward. Oh my God.
That entire company is great. I love them.
So you were saying how you have like a regular, date with your dad. So I also have a regular...
It's my dad. Don't call it a date. It's a mandate.
It's mandate.
It's not that kind of show, people. It's not that kind of show. No. I mean, not yet.
I have, for the last 4 years, I have a group that I've golfed with every Wednesday night at 4:30. And, I mean, it's like cycled through different people, but for the most part, we always do it at 4:30 on Wednesday. And these guys I've been golfing with for, 4 years, most of them. And it's just amazing that game, out of everything, I can still go back to, and it's constantly changing. Like, we were talking about the updates that they've just recently done to the cherry blossom courses, and like, looking back from the first tourist trap to now this last golf course of
26 courses, something like that.
It's crazy to
It is
see
crazy.
like the graphics and the changes that they've made. I remember when they with Coyote Valley when they came out with the wind and how it blew your ball, and it was like, what the fuck? Like it blows your ball. We were all kind of pissed off about it at first, but then it was like, holy shit, the programming that it took, because then you have to look and see, is it blowing it high or low, or where is it? It's just amazing. Walkabout Mini Golf is amazing all in itself.
So something quick about Walkabout Mini Golf. Two real quick things. Something I love about it is like sometimes you try to describe it to people and they're like, okay, whatever. It's mini golf. Why would I want to play it, right? You're like, no, you have to play it. And then when they finally play it, they get it. But the thing I always tell them is, imagine tic-tac-toe made by Nintendo or a company like Valve. Any company that's got a lot of money, a lot of really smart people, and put a lot of time and effort into something, and they don't release until it's done. Now make that mini golf, and Mighty Coconut. They can make anything, and it's going to be amazing, right? The other thing I love about them is that they follow the rules of amusement parks, which makes complete sense. That if you're designing the Magic Kingdom, there's certain rules that they've learned, the Imagineers have learned over the years of what to do and what not to do. And they've adopted those rules into VR, because what is VR? It is a recreation of everything around us times a million. And they're doing it,
Yeah, they're killing it. They're not just doing it. They're fucking killing it. And it can span from young aged kids all the way up to 80-year-old men and women.
They are so much more important in this industry to me than anyone else.
Oh, absolutely, because anybody can play mini golf. I can't get an 80-year-old man to come and play Pop 1 with me, because they're not. I mean, not that I want. You know what I'm trying to say.
Shit, I can't get King of Nerds to play Pop 1 with me. I get it.
Yes, but 9 times out of 10, I can have somebody go, hey, let's go in. I want to show you this mini golf course. And they're going to walk into Shangri-La hard level and look at it and go, this is fucking amazing. Like the graphics on this is absolutely
Val
insane.
and I, that's one of our favorites. Like when we've had a stressful day, we would lay on the bridge with all the lanterns floating around
us. The lanterns.
She would be in another state and I would be here, and we would just have a long day, and that's where we met in between.
I love your girlfriend. That's my favorite course. So I love you. Anytime that you want to come play mini golf with me, I will play mini golf.
Here we go. Oh, and BR Val did say that you guys met in Walkabout Mini Golf, right?
Yeah, we did. Exactly.
Cool. So
we
wait,
met outside
you
the
have a
shack.
VR relationship? That's amazing. I love it.
Well, and it's turned into a real life relationship. Yeah.
Well, obviously, yes, but that's amazing. See,
I think she might not exist.
Pretty sure she exists.
Actually, King of Nerds is using ChatGPT right now to populate our chat right here on Twitch. We know it's happening. You been busted? But King of VR Val, his ChatGPT bot just said, "Stop! I'm gonna cry. Yes, let's play, girl." So now, now you're gonna have to add her to that thread. We even have a thread for playing golf.
I know. Now we're gonna put you in our group. You're in our group now.
Sure,
sorry.
Well, and real quick, VR Val, she's a Walkabout ambassador. So I mean, she knows all about it.
Oh wow!
Hey, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yep. Yeah,
that is awesome.
Okay, what about you, Zork? Answer your question.
Okay, so there's a couple of things that, because we've taken time off and Rebel's going to address that, but a couple of things that I've really been into lately, and it's funny that you kind of brought up the glasses thing, because there's another podcast that I really like, a VR podcast, and King of Nerds even just turned me on to a couple of that I didn't even know about that I'm going to have to ask you the links for. But there's one called Between Realities with Alex and Skiva. They work in VR. They have a VR company in Arizona, or Skiva does. Alex works with Skiva there. And they were talking about, although it's not there yet, they're not there yet, but X-Real glasses are some of the best augmented reality glasses that you can have. And I'm just looking at that because it's like, I'm always thinking like I took a trip overseas to Scotland with my family over the summer, and it was like the shittiest experience you can ever think of when it came to. I hadn't flown in a while, but it's like, oh, now they have the screen on the back of everyone's chair, so I can just look at that and watch this movie, and I'll plug in my headphones. And it was still just kind of a crappy experience. And I was like, Quest 3 is making, one day will make it to where I can download movies and I will be able to wear my headset. And then I started listening to Between Realities, and Skiba was talking about X-Real glasses, where it's like, oh, if you have the hub, you can download this and you put it on, and it's kind of less frictionless. It's less awkward to the people around you, because you can basically put on these glasses and watch movies and you have a big screen in front of you. Granted, they still have some things to work on. I think they're trying to make another iteration of that hub to make it a little different, a little more seamless. So that's one thing I've been into. And another thing that I've been into, because I love to look at things kind of like you two, with what are things that are going to be accessible to people in VR that don't require a lot of money or whatever else. If you're ever looking on your Quest 3 and you see your Horizon feed there, you will see things, and if you're like me, you learn to ignore them. And some of them are some of like these 360 movies. Well, being a big science fiction nerd, I came upon one called I Am Philip, and it's basically like this little basically like VR movie. It's only like about 15 minutes. It's put on by the same studio that kind of like let you see Notre Dame. Like that was a big thing in their 360 camera. But in this one, it's like in the fictional movie that you watch, I Am Philip, Philip K. Dick has died. You see a scene of him at the hospital and his wife is crying. And then all of a sudden somebody figures out a way to download his consciousness. And then all of a sudden you are Philip inside of this dev studio, and they're trying to talk to you and prompt you to figure out if you remember anything about your prior life, right? And I'm like, oh, this is so cool, and I don't have to pay for it. This is just an experience I have because...
And it's Philip K. Dick. He's amazing.
Yeah, and it's Philip K. Dick. You know, Philip K. Dick's book, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? That's where Blade Runner, the inspiration for that came from. The Man in High Castle, all those kind of things. But I was just like...
Total Recall. Yeah,
Total Recall. Here's another thing that people can do, and it costs absolutely nothing. It's a gift that just keeps on giving. I just think that's killer. I think that's awesome.
No doubt.
That's amazing.
So we are nearly at the end of it. I sincerely appreciate you taking the time to be here with us, King of Nerds. Everybody's got to check that out. Jeremy Ryan just said,
go check out King of Nerds.
The Beam Mind VR
stuff
movie
is amazing. So
yeah, absolutely amazing. Please check out that link. And now we have to check out VR Val Gaming, because I mean, she sounds pretty damn awesome too. So real quick, Rebel wants to talk.
You'll love her videos,
right? Rebel wants to talk about something very near and dear to her, and then we'll say goodnight to everybody.
Yes. So I just wanted to, apologize to everybody that we did not have a show for the last 2 weeks. I don't know if you follow me on TikTok or Facebook, but my mother unexpectedly passed away a couple weeks ago. And so I had to go take care of that. Thank you. And my amazing co-host has just been nothing but gracious and loving throughout this whole experience.
She's not talking about me. I don't know who she's talking about.
I'm definitely talking about Zorg. And we had, guests lined up for the last 2 weeks. And, I just want to apologize to them that we did have to cancel and rebook and reschedule for them. And they will be coming back. And I want to thank King of Nerds so much for coming on tonight, because at the very last moment for doing it. Because I was going back and forth debating on if we wanted to go back tonight. But I'm back. We're back. We're going to keep going. I love this. I just want to, tell everybody thank you. And, thank you for being around and still coming and watching us, because this is very near and dear to both me and Zork. And I wanted to tell Zork that I love him. And thank you.
Aww.
Thank you for always being there for me.
Now everybody
I do
here
love
is
you.
telling you in chat that
Now,
you do
Kip.
not have to. You do not have to apologize for that. And
I know.
King of
I know,
Nerds was
but
in my
I
queue because I was gonna be. It was time. I was like, I got to get my shit together before I have the King of Nerds on here, right? Like,
I've been in the
Listen though, like this man, he pivoted like so quick for me, and just kind of was like, anything that you need, Rebel. What do you want? What do you need? How can I make this work for us? And how do I make this work for you and not stress you out? And
oh my God, I'm
I
acting
love
like a
this man,
decent.
so.
I'm acting like a decent human being. I love you too. Don't you worry about it.
I know it's
See no other expectations.
So,
Who are you?
to all the kids out there that are like, as soon as you see me in the lobby, you're like, Zork, I'm gonna shit on your head. You remember that? You remember that, kids? I'm a decent human
That's
being,
what I say.
and I'm
Let's watch it. No. I have a T-shirt that says that.
King of Nerds, thank you so much for being on the show. Is there anything else you want to tell
Thank you.
everybody
Thank
about
you.
what you got it going on, or we still have your YouTube pinned up there? Anything you want to say before we let you off the hook?
I appreciate you guys very much. I love this. I've not been much of a VR chat guy, but not because I don't like it. I've always been I was a Rec Room guy for a long time. So
Sure,
I just
sure.
have made a decision as for my friends. But you have shown me so much more of what VR chat can do, and I freaking love it. I love your show. I love your dynamic. I really appreciate you guys. having me
Awesome.
on. So thank you.
Awesome.
Well,
All
thank
right.
you.
You all can't
thank
hear it.
you.
We're going to play some awesome music getting out of here. I pushed the wrong button. There we are. Sorry. Everybody,
In true Zork
we
fashion.
love you. We love you. Big Funny Giant. Thanks for
love you.
tuning in.
Thank you.
VR Val Gaming. Check
you,
out
thank
my
you.
man, King of Nerds. That YouTube channel is pinned
Yes.
right there. Go Ted. You're awesome. Jeremy, Ryan, Tony in Chicago. Big Mike. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. We love you. We'll see you soon. We'll find somebody to raid. Take care, everybody. Woo! We'll see you next
Thank you.
Thursday.
Thank you.